Welcome back to the Alabama Power Halftime Report presented by Alabama Power, always on. It's time now for our Bulldog Conversation. With that, here's Nathan Troost.
I'm sitting with Tom Woolley. He is a professor here at Samford's Brock School of Business, but also one of the four founders for the new Samford Science and Religion Center. Welcome, first of all, but can you talk a little bit about what this new center is and what it does?
Yes, thank you. A number of years ago, I had a fellowship at Oxford on science and religion, and I came back from that in the fall of 2005 with an interest in keeping the topic going, seeing if I could get something going on campus. So we started what was called, and what still is called, a Science and Christianity Cadre, which is a reading group. And I just sent out an email to the faculty on campus and staff and said, would anybody like to read a book once a month and get together and talk about it? So we started that in fall of 2005. 6 years later, it's still going. We get together once a month. We have people from as far away as Montgomery who drive to this. We've got faculty at UAB in the medical school who participate. So it's a great activity related to science and religion. The Center for Science and Religion grew out of that cadre when we started talking about how could we better address the needs for issues related to science and religion. There were four of us primarily. Wilton Bunch from philosophy, Steve Donaldson from computer science, George Keller from biology, and myself, who decided to see if we could put together a proposal for a Center for Science and Religion. And we did that a couple of years ago, but we also had input from faculty in every school on campus. So it wasn't just the four of us that put together the proposal. And we went to the provost and president and talked to them about whether or not they thought that a center like this would be viable on Samford's campus. They agreed that it would be. Took it before the Board of Trustees and it was approved.
And now here we are,
so here we are
with the new center. Now you mentioned you got together faculty from all across campus really to sort of brainstorm about this. Talk about how this new center really incorporates the overarching Samford mission.
Well, I think it's very mission driven in the sense that one of the primary goals of this center is directed toward education. We're very concerned that Christians and other people of faith will be sidelined as these questions about science and religion that are on the horizon become more contentious. There are issues such as transhumanism, the melding of technology with the human body. You might ask the question, what will it mean to be human in the future? And questions like that can be very disturbing. There are the obvious things such as cloning and other things that people are aware of, but we became concerned early on that people of faith might be sidelined during these discussions. So number one is an educational mission. We feel like we need to engage the people of faith in the Birmingham community, in the state of Alabama, and the Southeast with these questions and issues so that when the time comes for serious discussions, they will not be sidelined. They'll be part of the mainstream and respected because they're informed and well educated about them.
Now obviously the center is new, so you're still formulating sort of the direction you want to go, but what is sort of on the horizon? What have you done perhaps this semester, but then what's on the horizon? What are some things that you hope to accomplish through the new Center for Science and Religion?
Well, one thing that we've already done is we've received a $75,000 grant from the Teagle Foundation. It's a program called the Big Questions program with Teagle. And what we did, what our proposal has been, and we're finishing up the second year of this project this year, we proposed to teach science and math classes around big questions with the idea that students might be more motivated in what can be sometimes difficult and sometimes dry subjects, but more motivated to learn these subjects if they realize they're related to some pretty interesting issues. So we've sponsored a number of classes at Samford, at Birmingham Southern, at UAB, at Montevallo through this grant where they've taught the classes around a big question. And we've also sponsored summer research projects in science and religion at all of the local universities as a result of this grant.
Now, what maybe on the horizon in the future do you see coming out of this new center?
Well, besides educational opportunities, we're hoping to, meaning outreach opportunities in the community. What we'd like to see is a major in science and religion. It would be the first major of its kind, certainly in the Southeast, and one of very few in the nation or the world. And it would be a very difficult major. It would be a major that would require students to take significant amounts of philosophy, theology, science, math. It would not be for the faint-hearted.
It sounds like both sides of the brain there working.
Absolutely. It would take a very special person to major, and it would bring a new kind of student to Samford University. This would not be poaching from other programs, but we think it would attract an interesting group of students.
Certainly. Now, we're about out of time, but how can people find out more about this Center for Science and Religion?
Well, we're working on a website. Right now, the best way to do it would simply be to contact one of the faculty. Okay. You can find me in the business school on the web page. You can link to my email address, and I'd be happy to send out information. But shortly, we're in fact working on a web page right now. So within hopefully a month or two, there'll be a web presence for the center.
Great. Well, and again, I'm sitting with Tom Woolley. He's one of the 4 founders of the new Center for Science and Religion here at Samford University. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Nathan.
You've been listening to Bulldog Conversation on the Alabama Power Halftime Report. Back to the second half in just a moment. This is the Samford Sports Network.